안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome back to the Match Podcast. I had an episode for y'all today because I just made a short piece of content for the Instagrams. And I started the video by saying these exact words. We should fire all of the Korean leaders. It would fix everything, is what you think. And I say that because I know this because I know it myself, and I know this because I know it in our members. It is called scapegoating. It is called, it's called just blaming. Just old traditional, good old fashioned pointing fingers and blaming others. And that's not to say that people aren't at fault. It's not to say that leaders have made mistakes and people are flawed. Oh my gosh, and governments are flawed. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that a Korean government could be flawed? I just know because I care deeply about people's headspace and peace of mind. I do, because the ultimate biggest direct impact on your quality of life and the quality of life of our future generations, which is what we're talking about here, right? Talking about future generations here, we're talking about the world here, is not who is the leader. It is not who is running the country. It is simply your ability to stay focused on your blessing, your family, your relationship with God, your faith. All right. That has the most direct impact, long-term speaking. Okay. It's also empowering. So let's assume for a second, just for entertainment's sake, guys, entertain me for a second. Let's assume that we fire everybody and we just, the most radical thing you could think of. Let's do that thing that you think we should do, right? Everyone has their thing. Everyone has a thing that they feel like would resolve everything. Oh, we should do this. I have an idea. Let's say we do your thing, right? Assume that it's true and it's right. How long will that be effective? We're talking about hundreds of years. Like, true parents came here to talk generationally, lineage, not a couple of generations, not a couple of years. We're talking about world-changing stuff. We're talking about, True Mother's talking about 8 billion. This is where her mind is at. She's not talking about the next election. She's talking about billions of people, okay? She's thinking, True Father was thinking decades, centuries down the road. True Father was talking stuff like the hobby. I was really fascinated by that. I felt like there's a whole section in like the Chansung Young about the leisure industry, the hobby industry. That's a very fascinating thing that Father was talking about way before the advent of ChatGPT. He was anticipating automation in a time of life where everything is so seamless and automated through automation and AI and robots that suffering becomes voluntary. Like, we don't have to suffer to survive. Like, survival becomes unnecessary. And he was anticipating that the future will be an industry of leisure, of hobbies, of going back to just soccer and like archery and working out and like this kind of stuff and just being together in families. So point is, Father was talking about stuff that is way, way down the road. Actually, maybe not that far away from reality. Maybe some of our lifetimes will look like that. And Mother's talking about 8 billion people. So it's not helpful to point fingers. It's not helpful. I think what's more helpful is to internalize when we do feel upset. That's emotions we feel are there for a reason. I think they're reasonable. They're not unreasonable, let's say, if you feel frustration, anger. But I would say it is unreasonable to not have a desire to resolve those feelings. I think that's unreasonable. I think that it's okay if you feel stuff. We all do. We're human. If you didn't feel stuff, you would be a robot, an automation, an AI. But it's not okay, like, to not just pause and be like, man, I'm so upset at leaders. Just pause and be like, okay, what's going on? There's got to be something else going on, because they're just being them. They're not forcing you to be upset. They're not coming to your house. I hope. Gosh, I hope they're not coming to your house and threatening you and say, you have to be angry at me. You have to. Maybe it feels like they're doing this. Maybe it feels like governments are doing that. You have to be upset. We're going to do everything we can to make you upset at us. But they're not forcing us to. They're not forcing you to feel any way. You're feeling that way. And that is a owner, my friends. That is a owner of Chanoguk to say, I feel this way. Um, and you might be objectively right. Here's the thing. Here's a absolutely adult thing to do. All right. If you have the ability to distinguish between what's personal and what's true objectively, you are unstoppable. Think about this in the workplace. If you have a grievance with a coworker or with your boss or with the work itself, it is a mature person to be able to bring that up, right, in the proper channels without making it about you, making it personal, how somebody hurted you and how I feel and all this stuff. That is a mature person. A mature owner person would say, I feel this way. I'll take responsibility for how I feel, but we need to address this. This is how a good family operates too, my friends. If you have a good operating family, if you're in a matching process and you're talking to someone and you're considering the blessing, a good responsible owner of Changguk would be able to have a conversation about difficult things and challenge maybe if something is, if someone has a bad habit or a lack misbelief or a lack of understanding or whatever it is, ego or whatever the thing is, be like, yeah, bring this up, but it's not personal to me and I'm not being personal about you. It's just, this is what I see. It is a good parent-child relationship for a parent to look at a child and say, you need to grow up, little boy, little girl, you got to get your stuff together and not get upset about it. And a lot of parents tend to do this, but they try to personalize it and make it about me. And how could you do this to me? How many times have your parents said that to you? How could you do that to me? You are doing this to me. You are sneaking out at night to me. You're drinking to me. It's like, it's nothing to do with you, But a good parent will just be like, that's not good. I don't think that's good. Let's not do about that. And it's not personal. It's just a distinction. It's not conflate. You don't have to conflate and merge all the feelings, okay? In a good relationship with your parents. This is a huge one. This is arguably one of the hardest ones because the parents are meant to represent the most mature, but sometimes they're on their growing period. Or they're on their journey of growth. And so sometimes you have to be able to look at them and distinguish between what's maybe true and bring that up. You'd be like, yeah, I think you got to, lay off the Fox News and maybe it's making you a little upset, mom or dad. Maybe you're not seeing things clearly, but also not be like all upset about it. That's personal. If you feel upset at someone, that's you. That's personal. You're not being forced to feel that way at all. All right. If you are in whatever the relationships, all the relationships, this is something that I don't hear anybody talking about, but truly a life skill to be able to I had this experience with my Pastor Bob. He's someone in my church. He is first person that comes to mind that's really exceptionally good at giving like constructive feedback without any like, how do I say it? You know how sometimes if somebody's like overly sensitive and they're giving you feedback about something, like about your performance or about how you said something, they kind of like skirt around it or beat around the bush and they're like, well, I'm sorry to say this, but like if you do it like that, it's like you're making it so weighty and heavy and you just say it, you know what I'm saying? But Bob, in this example, Pastor Bob has this ability to just say it and be like, yeah, I think you shouldn't have said that, right? With no personal emotion, no like, it's not an attack. It's just like matter of fact. Like, I think that this was this way, right? And I really appreciate that about him and I appreciate that about people. I try to do it myself as much as I can. If I notice myself kind of, if you hold back, if I start holding back because the truth that needs to come out, out of fear of like upsetting someone, but it's true. That's that's not good, right? Because you can't just say, well, this is a me thing, and I should just shut up and be quiet about it because I need to change me and take ownership. That's not ownership. That's running away. That's escapism. But a true owner would just be able to distinguish the two, be like, and bring that up too. You can even say to your boss or coworkers, say, I see that this is happening. I think we need to change this. I also feel pretty upset about it, and I know that's on me, but I just want to let you know because we're a family and we're working through this together, right? We're trying to build something together. So I don't know how we got here. Oh yes, owner. We're owners of Chanuguk. How many times have you said that in your life? If you can count, let me know. Send me a thing. Send me a DM if you can. Just count. If you can calculate how many times you have said the family pledge, times 8 have you said as an owner of Chanuguk. An owner, which means like, this is our thing. This is our movement, our church. Our church cannot operate. A church cannot function if it's only led by a few leaders. It can't. And the more we like give power and weight to that and say like, we need to change the leaders, the leadership, and all this, the more we're giving power to this false reality that a church is leaders. It's not. The most long-lasting, sustaining faiths, you can name them all, that exist today, go to one of them. All right? Go to a Hindu temple. Go to a mosque. Go to whatever. Just hang out there for a day. I did this with my son, with Kojin, last year. I went to a Hindu temple near our house because it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, just white buildings. I don't know what temple. It's a temple, just white, and you take your shoes off, and it's just a gorgeous like red velvet floor that goes around this compound. It's a compound. It's one of the largest temples in America. All right, here in North Carolina. And I just decided to go one day on a Saturday because why not? And we went there, and I was just looking around, and I was like, just so curious about all these people. And I discovered at this visit that everyone's a volunteer. I mean, I think I knew that logically, but really seeing it with my eyes, the people handing out the food, people that are cleaning, sweeping the entire building, wiping stuff, people inside the temple that are like running, all volunteers. And I was like, this is what it means to be a faith. And you can extrapolate that to any long-lasting faith. It's people that just say, this is my thing. This is my thing. And I'm going to volunteer. And so faiths that last are based in volunteerism. Volunteerism is based in ownership. All right. And I'm not saying, by the way, there should be no leaders. That's what I'm saying. That's a different conversation. What I'm saying is that if we over-index and overemphasize the need for leaders, to be good, then we're giving power to the wrong thing. All right. And leaders would agree with this, by the way. They're not like, we need to do everything. There's no pastor out there that's like, I need to do maybe there's a few. They should be fired. But there's no pastor, a good leader out there that's like, the members should do nothing. Our leaders are genuinely good people for the most part. They're good people. They care. They think they are good, sound-minded people. And if you ask them point blank, they would say, yeah, they would want more people to volunteer. I don't think any leader would want less people to volunteer, to support, to give themselves to their faith. And so that's the direction we got to go, guys. I'm honest to God, like I'm anticipating that our faith needs to go through this shift, this process of becoming somewhere in which it is expected. It's expected that people contribute locally. It is expected that our faith is ours. It's no one else's. And this whole notion that the church's destiny is fated to a few leaders, that will not exist. We will laugh in the face of people that believe that a movement can be run by a few people. No, this is not what Father wanted. Father established a movement, my friends. And that's a movement that starts with us. That's just us being owners. It starts in the family. Think of how much you can do with just your family. For a second, just imagine the impact. Just look at, I don't know, whoever your favorite biblical character is, or movie character, or like look at mother's lineage, look at father's lineage, look at Christ, the lineage of Christ, look at your lineage. It's like there's so much that can happen in one family. So don't be fooled to believe that you don't have power. You have so much power. You have, oh my gosh. I mean, it scales pretty dang fast. The impact of like having children, raising those children well, it scales. All right. And that's just the ability to think long term. And if you don't believe that, it means you have fundamentally lack an ability to just think a few decades from now. I'm not talking about, you don't have to think hundreds of years from now, hundreds of years. Let's say a few decades, you can have so much impact. If we're just willing to learn to look past few years here or there, just look few decades down the road, a few generations, maybe your grandchildren, great grandchildren, great 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 grandchildren that won't remember me. My goodness, they won't know my name, but they will know the felt experience of experiencing God in their family. That is what I hope more than anything. I'm not obsessed with names. A lot of people are obsessed with their last name. Like they have to have their last name passed on. I don't get that personally. I think it's a vanity thing. I think it's very externally motivated. I want my lineage to feel God so deeply to the deepest extent imaginable in all of history. And I want that to be the legacy, that they just feel love, this love. And they feel it so much so that they want to give back. They want to contribute. They want to give to their family. They want to give to their children. They want to give to their local community, to their national community. They want to just have this sincere heart of volunteerism. That is the environment that I'm creating right now. That is all I can do. And that is so impactful. And I have to remind my wife this every day. God bless her. She has multiple times throughout the last 11 years of having kids. I say that like we have 11 kids. No, like we have 3 kids, but our oldest 11 years old. The last 11 years, she has been so focused on our children, and our youngest is 3, so still pretty young. And I'm like going to workshops and like talking in Korea and stuff. And I come back, and sometimes she has, kind of made this comment of like, Benji, you're doing so much, change the world, and all I'm doing is like I don't feel like I'm contributing. And my gosh, I cry. I cry when she says that, because I just have to remind her, like, honey, you are playing the long game. You're playing the long game, and no one will see it. Unfortunately, nobody will see the long nights you've spent as a mother. Nobody will see that. The sacrifices, nobody will see them. You could try to portray it. Instagram, people try this, talk about mom life and how stressful or hard it can be, how joyful it can be, but you can't portray that. Nobody will see that. Not day after day, night after night. No one will see that. And I feel like and part of me is like, wants to come back and say, well, fathers have a hard time too, but I think there's no comparison. It's not even a comparison. You know what I'm saying? It's like comparing a man to a woman is like comparing an apple to an orange. There's really no point. There's no point in doing it. There's literally no point. And so it's like they're just completely different experiences of being a man, being a woman. I made another reel about this on Instagram. Men are biologically and chemically different than women. And it is so apparent when you just live together. On the surface, it's like, yeah, we have the same, drives. And it's like, no, women are very, very different from men. Just look at the hormones. Do a deep dive into men's hormones and women's hormones, especially women's hormones. Like just how much they fluctuate throughout the month is just insane. The hormones change. My wife is a different person from like 1 week to the next week sometimes. And that's a beautiful design, but we're like in this society where we're trying to compare apples to apples, like we're the same. It's like you cannot compare a man's contribution to life to a woman's contribution to life. You can't. It's impossible. So we should just not try. And I think the solution is like we should just appreciate. I mean, as a man, all I can do is appreciate women. All I can do is appreciate my wife. I don't want to appreciate myself. that's so egocentrical. Like I don't want to appreciate my wife. My wife appreciates me, right? She does in her own way. She doesn't say it. She never says it. She'll never say it out loud, but she does in her own way. It's very subtle. It's very Japanese, but it's very subtle. And she appreciates me in moments that are very, very powerful, and I feel them. She like saves up. She's like saving up and banking on these moments where it's just like she like has a trump card, which is like, bam, and it hits so deep, and I feel like, yes, she totally appreciates me, and I just need a few of those moments, and then I'm filled up. I'm like, yeah, I got you. I don't need someone that's always like every day, oh my gosh, you're so amazing, you work so hard, you're so amazing, Benji. I don't need that. That's like just artificial and what's a word? Manufactured appreciation. and I can't deal with that. Maybe I would have liked it, to be honest, but living with a woman that is saving up her appreciations and playing them at the right moments, that in hindsight, I appreciate that more for sure. So what are we talking about here? Okay, ownership. That's all I have for you guys. I want you guys to really observe your thoughts and feelings and emotions. And if you feel frustration towards anybody in your life too, this is probably more applicable to real life. Like if you feel frustration at your parents, matching partner, spouse, whoever, that means it means you feel disconnected from them more than anything. It means you just have to spend some time being present. That'll usually resolve it. In my experience, spend a few hours with somebody overnight, you could just feel way different towards them. It's especially hard for to do with parents, but if you can get to a point where you can stop trying to fix them and tell them why they should change and just be with them and listen to all their stuff, just have it come through you and just not ignore it, but just receive it and be like, yeah, 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 I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. 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 All the things that your mom says about the church and all the things your dad says about politics. If you could just be like, yeah, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I feel you. And that's it. There's no agenda. There's no need to correct. There's no teaching. If you could just do that. You'll feel so connected. You'll be able to see them. So that's the point of connection is you can see somebody. And if you don't see them, all you can do is develop frustration and resentment and annoyance and irritation. You just feel irritated at people in workplace. I've experienced so many times like work. If I feel annoyed at someone, it's because I don't feel them. I don't see them as like a brother or a sister. Like I gotta really connect with them. And then once I do, I feel like, oh, I don't. My annoyance went away, right? And so this goes back to the point of like, if you take things personally, bring it up, but don't let it fester in you and turn into something cancerous and dangerous and gross. And all right, lots of love. Bye.